Welcome to the Central Prairie Co-op Podcast, your go-to source for all things agriculture. Each week, we bring you expert insights, market trends, and real stories from the field. Whether you're a seasoned producer or joining us for the first time, there is something here for you. So, grab a coffee and let's dive into the business of agriculture from the ground up. Welcome to the Central Prairie Co-op Podcast. Joining us again today is Brendan Giesick, Chief Revenue Officer with Adams Brown Technology, and we're going to dive right in and pick up where we left off 2 weeks ago. So, Brendan, let's take a few minutes to debunk some of the myths around AI. Myth number one, AI is a single monolithic technology.
Well, yeah, no, AI is a very broad term. There's different types of artificial intelligence. You have machine learning and large language models, and and even within those things, there's narrow learning and there's deep learning, and
Yes.
you've probably heard the term deep fakes, which is taking other people's images or videos and manipulating it to do what you want it to do, and so. No, it's not a monolithic technology, and really, I don't think we've really even scratched the surface on where we're going to see this thing and how it plays out in every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Myth number two, AI can act autonomously without human oversight.
This is going to be an explosive answer.
I'm giving him the hard ones, folks.
Yeah. As it stands today, no. There needs to be human oversight. When training these models, when using artificial intelligence. If you are actively using artificial intelligence, you probably know more than anyone else how dumb it can feel sometimes, and how much you have to massage it and prompt it to get it to kind of do what you want it to do. But that is as it stands today. Again, this technology, the way we've known it, has only been around since 2022, late 2022.
Yeah.
And I think, and I know the intent of it with these organizations is for it to run autonomously and to make autonomous decisions without human oversight. I think there's a 60 Minutes that came out a couple of weeks ago that's talking about AI and Boston Dynamics and robots, and there are already factories they call them dark factories in China that run completely autonomously. It's all robots building cars or whatnot. Hyundai, they have a factory here in America where they're starting to test out Atlas, which is a robot that Boston Dynamics has built, and Atlas sorts roof racks all day. Autonomously, right? And they're still training it, and but they're already kind of getting there are pieces of AI that are getting to the point where they are working autonomously and don't need much human oversight. The thing I saw the other day was they were like, well, someone still needs to build the robots. And it's like, or the robots are going to build the robots, right?
Right.
It is getting to, it does move so fast. There is a level of autonomy that it's going to have very soon.
Myth number three, AI thinks and feels like humans.
Well, AI does think like humans, but it does not feel like humans. And it is hard to separate ourselves as humans from this, especially when you use AI, because it does feel like you're talking to someone. But remember, AI is just a software. It's just a computer sitting somewhere. It's not a human. It is designed to think like you. It's designed to take data and inputs that you and other people have given it and reason and come up with answers and help think through things. And it learns from itself. But it does not feel. I know there are things called empathy engines. It's another new form of AI where they are trying to get it to feel or have empathy like a human would. But at the end of the day, it's a computer.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful computer. But it cannot and it will not ever feel like you do.
Like we do. Yeah. Okay, myth number four. AI can learn and adapt on its own without human intervention.
Again, the intent of it is to be able to do that. Today, there's a lot of training that goes into these AI models. Mm-hmm. There are humans constantly spoon feeding it and training it. When you use things like ChatGPT, unless you're on the paid version, if you're using the free version of ChatGPT, just as a PSA to anyone listening, they're using your data to train its models. Mm-hmm. So even you as the end user are training the models. So today, it's not necessarily learning autonomously like you might think. Will it get that way? Yes, mm-hmm. because that is how it works. It takes eventually we're going to get to a point where there's not much more data dump that can happen on these machines. It's just going to have the data.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue to learn and cultivate different ideas from that data. So I would say today, not really, but ask me that a year from now, I might have a different answer.
You might have a different answer. Yeah. Okay, myth number 5. AI is unbiased and objective.
Yeah, well, they are biased because they're trained by humans.
Mm-hmm. And we
are. I mean, and so there is some reality to, depending on the model you're talking to and the data that it's been given, it is going to have biases because, again, it can't, unlike the movies, it can't really formulate its own opinion. Mm-hmm. It's making decisions and reasoning off of data that you've given it.
Right.
So if you're giving it biased data, you're going to get a biased response.
Yeah.
However, this is why you have to be careful with artificial intelligence, because I think the great thing about artificial intelligence is that you don't have to think that hard. Mm-hmm. The bad thing about artificial intelligence is that you don't have to think that hard.
I absolutely agree.
Take it at face value.
Yeah.
And if you're taking at face value biased information, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So. Absolutely. Yeah, and it can be flawed because humans built it, and we are flawed.
Yeah.
We are just inherently flawed.
We're flawed, yeah. and I mean, yeah, artificial intelligence will continue to evolve, and humans are going to continue to evolve it. And what do humans usually do? Humans either use it for good or they use it for bad.
Absolutely.
It's going to be the same thing with artificial intelligence. There's going to be the good use cases for it, and it's going to be weaponized in other use cases.
Yes.
And you just have to use your human discernment.
Yes.
And to really understand, is this benefiting me or is this hurting me? Yeah. Or is this benefiting the people around it? Is it hurting the people around me?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of ethical questions around AI still.
Yeah.
All right. Myth number 6, AI will cause widespread job loss and unemployment.
Yeah. This is like, I'm gonna give 2 different sides of this answer. Okay. I mean, this is the 900-pound gorilla in every room.
It is.
You know,
and you hear about it on the news.
You hear about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the reality is, there is going to be a day where AI and robots probably will take a decent number of jobs from Americans. That day is not anytime soon, in my opinion. Frankly, where I think we're going to see robots and AI first is those unbelievably monotonous tasks, dangerous tasks, tasks that humans just do not want to do anyway. That's where it will start. Okay. But even as you look at AI today, it couldn't take your job. Yeah, it will help enhance your job. And like we like to use it, you know, how do we use this to get people in their upper right quadrant and focus on what they love to do versus the monotonous things that they have to do. But I agree, it's definitely going to change your job before it takes your job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my hope personally is that we will find ways to use AI And in using it, we will get people home from work on time, right? Instead of working late.
Yeah.
That we will get to clear off some of those boring things they have to do all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, improve the quality of life of employees.
Yeah.
And there's a huge opportunity if we go down that path. And so that's kind of what we talk about here at Central Prairie is how can this make our employees' lives better?
Yeah. And that's the right mindset. I mean, you got to use it as an enhancer to your staff and to your business, not a cost eliminator, you know. And really, I think people in businesses that are a little quick to jump right now to cutting people and using AI, they're probably feeling more pain than than the dollars are letting on right now. I mean, artificial intelligence is good, but it's not great. And to me, it can't replace a good human.
Absolutely.
I think what AI can do though is make a good human do the job of 2 or 3 and take on more and become more efficient. And that's what you need right now, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Especially with, you know, it's so incredibly hard to hire employees right now. And if you think about it, during COVID, you know, we lost nearly 1 million Americans. So that's 1 million people you don't have in the workforce.
Yeah.
And then we had a group of people who were baby boomers. They're like, okay, I'm done. I am retiring now. I'm going to live my best life. You know, COVID kind of, kind of emphasized for us the value of life. Yeah. So we're in this weird time where, you know, it's just extremely difficult to hire people. So I really feel like AI is going to help us in those areas too.
Yeah, I truly believe, because I 100% agree. I think we are starting to see, I mean, we face it every day in our business. I mean, trying to hire people is hard.
Oh, man.
Trying to hire good people is even harder.
Yes.
And you want to keep the people that you have, but you want to give them the tools they can to do their job well without you know, burning them out.
Absolutely.
And AI can do that. Because, I mean, there are people retiring. We've lost a lot of people. And things in business in any industry have only gotten more complex. And the demands have only gotten higher.
Yeah.
You know, and artificial intelligence can help you keep up with that workload while still saving margin.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to open a can of worms here. So we've talked about what AI is today. We both expect it to become a more powerful tool, a more widely used tool. But that comes with ethical considerations like, you know, bias in algorithms, data privacy, responsible use. One school of thought is that AI is a tool, and like all tools, it must enhance, never erode. And, you know, your most important tool, which is your mind. It's to supplement your mind. But we don't have a set of guardrails yet. What kind of guardrails do you think we need for AI? Can of worms. Told you.
A lot of guardrails. I'm going to break this down in a few different areas, but first I want to just touch on business in general and the guardrails you need inside of your business. So probably the number one threat you're going to have to your business over the next few years, if not already right now, is something we call shadow AI. And that is your employees using AI without your knowledge and implementing you and your customers' data into things like ChatGPT, Gemini, without the proper guardrails in place. And so if you think that's happening, then you need to start formulating and building out some acceptable use policies for artificial intelligence within your business. I mean, most businesses touch personal information and sensitive information. You know, if you're in healthcare, insurance, finance, whatever the case may be, you have access to personal information. And it's pretty easy to throw a spreadsheet into ChatGPT and say, do this or that. Well, like I
really
said,
is.
if you're on a free version of that, you just gave ChatGPT all that data. And the OpenAI CEO, so OpenAI is actually who owns ChatGPT. Okay. And Sam Altman, who's their CEO, came out and said that ChatGPT does not have, it's not attorney-client privilege. It's not doctor-patient privilege. If you give us information, we are using it to train our models. There's nothing you can do. You've given it away, essentially. And we are seeing threat actors use that information to do what they call prompt injections to steal information or use it to gain access to your business. And so, first things first, as a business owner, you should be implementing guardrails for just shadow AI and using AI in general, and deciding how do I want AI to, what part of my business do I want AI to play a role in, right? I mean, you are going to have to make that decision.
Yes.
And if you aren't making that decision, you're already behind. And if you don't want to make that decision, you probably should just sell to private equity or someone who will, because they're going to end up steamrolling you anyway.
Yes.
And that's the sad reality, is that is how powerful AI is you don't really have a choice. It's you're either on the bus or off the bus. And I don't want to sound too doom and gloom, but that is how serious this is.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence is that important to your business. From a personal standpoint and just personal end users, education and educating yourself is going to be the biggest thing. I'm not saying go out there and understand what AI is and how it works, but I am saying that you need to understand how people are using it and how it can affect you and your family's lives, and understanding that there is going to be a day where you're going to see a deep fake of something that isn't real. You might see a deep fake of the president giving a message that's not real. It's going to be a propaganda machine. It's going to touch different parts of your life. There's already these scams going around where even through telephone calls, they're acting like someone's acting like they've kidnapped your child and asking for ransom money. And I mean, this happens all the time, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, you have things like, AT&T got hacked a couple years ago, and all of these consumer cell phone numbers and private information got leaked. You take someone's cell phone number, looking through their texts, and couple that with building an AI little deep fake, you could probably get someone on the hook thinking you've got them in trouble somehow.
Yeah.
Right. And so I just can't stress enough the education and educating your family and your children on what AI is and what the red flags are to be looking for, and how to use it in an ethical and moral way, that helps make your life and other people's lives around you better, and not worse. And then guardrails from a policy perspective. When I say policy, I mean law. I mean, one thing right now is there is really zero understanding of artificial intelligence at the state and federal level. When we talk about AI taking jobs, there's going to be a day where artificial intelligence starts picking off jobs. What are we going to do? These big mega, these big corporations, they're really just looking at the bottom line, and AI is an EBITDA driver. And so there needs to be some guardrails at the policy level to keep these companies from completely driving humans out of the organization, because I just think the long-term thinking is not there yet of how is this going to affect the end user or the people receiving our products. And I mean, people joke about that all the time. Big companies don't care. And it's like, well, they definitely don't care. And with AI, they're going to continue to not care. Yeah. And they're going to push their AI, they're going to continue to shove it down consumers' throats. And so, and with that too, just with potential job loss, I mean, I think we're going to have to start looking at things like UBI, which is universal basic income, for people who are going to end up being left stranded. I mean, I will say this, I'm 30 years old. Okay. And I have a tough time sponging the information of AI and how it works. Yeah. Okay. my son is 15 months old. He's probably going to understand AI a hell of a lot better than I ever will.
Yes.
Okay. And there's probably going to be a day where I'm like, I'm just not going to be in a position to be super helpful, in a world of AI.
Yeah.
And I do think there needs to be some sort of protections and guardrails in place for that day.
Yeah.
There used to be a thing that was kind of controversial a few years ago called Learn to Code, and it was about, truck drivers losing their jobs to autonomous semis, and people are like, well, just learn to code. There's your new job. And it's like, not everyone's going to be able to learn to code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
just not a reality.
Yeah. As a software developer in my past, I can tell you, it's not for everyone.
Yeah. It's not for everyone. And not everyone's going to want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to definitely need some guardrails in place to help protect, Americans as this technology continues to evolve. And I don't say that in a negative way. I do think it's going to enhance people's lives.
Yes.
And I think there's probably just going to be some jobs that just don't exist anymore because they don't need to exist.
Because we don't need them.
We don't need them, and I don't think people should be penalized for that.
Yes.
I think, though, that we need to find some ways to ensure people can still have a good living standard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Brendan, what do you want our listeners to take away from this podcast today?
Yeah. I don't want you to take away that AI is a negative, because AI is a huge net positive to everything it can touch. But I do want to stress the importance of educating yourself and understanding why AI is important and how it can help you and how it can help your business, but with a positive mindset. This is not a doom and gloom. This is not going to be for the faint of heart. And there is opportunity here for growth. There's opportunity for, we don't know what AI is going to come up with. There may be we just talked about jobs, but as AI evolves, there may be more jobs that it creates somehow, some way, and so there's a lot of positives that we're seeing from AI and how it's making people's lives better. And so take that as you will and apply it where you see fit. Right. But educating yourself and really understanding, how can I use this in an impactful way today?
Brendan, that was a lot.
It was a lot.
We just chewed off a lot. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining the Central Prairie Co-op podcast, where we talk all things ag from the ground up.